Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Weekly Wake Up. This is a weekly thing that we try to do here in the Boulder Valley School District for employees. Our whole plan with the live stream is to try to touch base with you all, to answer your questions, and to bring amazing people to talk to us about their expertise, answer, again, questions. But in the case of what we're going to be talking about today, it's about your wellness. We know that this has been a stressful time. We're just, second week back to school really here with middle school coming back in person. Next week, we've got high school coming back in person. So it's kind of an exciting time, but I know also a stressful time. Additionally, a lot going on at the national level. And so we wanted to make sure to bring back our old friend, Chi Kim from Pure Edge. Before I have her talk with us, I did want to just mention that, as always, if I can get this thing to work, it is not working, of course. Oh, you gotta love technology on a Monday morning. Anyhow, we do have, yes, there we go, an ability for you to add questions or to send your feedback. If you have a topic that you think that we should take on, we're happy to entertain it through that as well. But Chi is here today, and if you've got a question for her, you can send it through Bitly. That's bit.ly/BVSD Wake Up, and she'll be happy to entertain that as well as I will too. We're going to try to stay on topic today. But just so excited to have her back. Chi, how are you doing today? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and thanks so much for welcoming me back. I'm very excited just to be amongst friends. It's been a very emotional few days for certain, and I know it's going to be even more, I think, over the course of the next few days and weeks. So, but I just am excited to be here. So thank you for that.
I love what you just said, because we all celebrated New Year's. It feels like an eon ago now, but it was just about a week ago, and we all celebrated the end of 2020 as if that was going to be some like stat moment in which we'd be able to move on. And then I know a lot of the memes going on around right now is I have the 7 days to return this year. So as always, I want you to kind of start by kind of telling us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how educators, if they want to get involved with you, how they can do that.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Chi. Thank you so much for the invite. I am the CEO of we're a private operating foundation called Pure Edge. All of our services are donated, including all of our service to Boulder Valley. And what we've been trying to do is actually, based on research, is really go through and talk about the impact of stress, and particularly on the adults. And I think we do know that when educators are experiencing high levels of stress and we don't help and support, sort of mitigate some of those and provide some strategies, we do know that has a profound impact on the young people that you serve. And so we've sort of made it our mission in the last 3 to 4 years, just since the pandemic has hit in March through December of this past 2020, we've served about 50,000 educators across the country. We've had a few from other parts of the world join us as well. And we've already started off, we've had, I think, 5,000 folks just starting in January. The impact of stress is pretty profound. And I think just so much is going on. Just as a way of background, I was a teacher, assistant principal, and a superintendent, and served as a leadership coach. So I've been in your seats, but I've never been in your seats during a pandemic. And so I know some of what your job is, but I don't know what it's like right now with what you're going through from the work perspective and from the family perspectives. There's just such a diverse view across the country. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I just appreciate every one of you for what you're doing every day, showing up and serving in a very, very stressful time. So with that, I just want to just share my gratitude and thank you for welcoming me back.
And again, we wanted to welcome her back because last time that we had her on, was that November? I can't remember exactly. I know, she was struggling with a few things, like her computer ended up dying, and yet she was a champ. And the response that we got was overwhelming. I think, our staff really, again, stretched to a limit. I know that we've really tried to recognize the fact that this has been very difficult on everyone, teachers, behind the scenes staff, everyone that supports kids. This is a very trying time. And, between the phone calls that we have to answer and the questions from parents, again, the things that are swirling around us, certainly want to recognize that. when I talked to you about this time around, again, just having you on and having you talk about the things that you talk about, taking a moment to breathe and rest and all those kind of things is key. But a new year is always a good time to sort of reset things. And again, this is a second semester for us, so it's not like it's a completely fresh start here. But to be able to kind of stop and kind of look at, the practices that we're doing and, can we improve? Yes, of course we can all improve. What would you kind of encourage for folks as we start this 2021?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece I would share with you is that it's more important than ever just to take time for yourself. And I don't mean it in a way that, it's babbling brook stacking stones, where that's really not my intention. It's really that the stress is building up, and I'm going to go over that today. And really, it's the recovery from the stress, right? Taking the time to recover from the stress, what's impacting your body. Your body is talking to you every minute of every day right now. And I think just trying to refresh. Normally we take our holiday Christmas tree down after New Year's, and I've just decided I'm going to leave it up. Maybe through February, March, I'm not really sure, but it's just going to be staying up because those are the new kinds of norms that, and I think people are not doing resolutions because it's been a constant. But I would just say, be kind to yourself. I think there is a lot of research, frankly, that kindness can really have a really nice recovery impact on your body as well, to others, but especially to yourself. So with that, I think mostly just take it easy, moment by moment, day by day. It's so hard to predict these days. And I think that's what's exhausting. It's the unknowns that are coming at you constantly that's exhausting. And that is a very real and very consistent pattern across the country. And we work with school districts, over 100 agencies and state agencies, and just know that you're not alone. We will keep showing up if you ask us, and we have all these resources. They're all free and open source for you all to use. So please feel free. And at the very end, I'll give you another resource. Headspace is free for all school employees across the country as well. And I have that gift as well from them to you.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I know that that's always kind of a benefit. We always talk with the educators that come on this show to kind of help folks know that they're not alone, right?
Yeah.
If they're across the district in another school, that they're still, having that issue. And I think it's again, and I don't want to necessarily retread the same ground, but the fact, you are hearing from school districts across this nation that very similar kinds of things to I know I kind of was filling you in on kind of where we see, vaccinations are a thing right now. We're working on trying to start getting that out to folks. And this is a crazy time. What are you hearing from other school districts?
Well, it's been interesting. I have 2 high schoolers and a middle schooler, and the 2 high schoolers, they've been going hybrid since sort of mid-year. And we just got an email last night from the superintendent that 11 kids are tested positive. So they shut down the cohort. So they're remote today. But, I think what's most frustrating is that there's a group of folks that are doing the right thing, haven't gone anywhere, have spent, holidays alone as small cohorts. And then you find out that there were parties and other things. And it's pretty infuriating. Like, I just want to be very honest. Like, my emotions are really raw because, we have people that are high risk. We live in a place where there's a lot of elderly. And I think that's sort of the same piece that's going across the country, right? And it is that tension of different viewpoints that are clashing. And I think that's what makes it very, very challenging because you may make a decision, you may be loved by one group and hated by another. And that's frankly what we're hearing across the country. It is it's one of those moments where all I can share is that I hope you're taking care of yourselves. It will pass. It just is going to take us, a moment by moment sort of process, right? And it is small and incremental, and that's what I'm hoping to share a couple of strategies with you today, and just go from there.
I do want to mention that here in the Denver area, at least, we have sort of a practice. We don't have a stock show this year, but typically, you were allowed to keep your lights on through the end of the stock show. So just so you know, there's precedent to this whole thing of keeping your Christmas lights on. So.
It makes me feel a lot better. I think our neighbors are pretty annoyed because I have every decoration up. But
yeah, I don't know that the HOA necessarily changes the rules and bylaws and all that kind of stuff. Anyhow, you want to guide us on some of your exercises?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to start my presentation and give you some, just so you have a little bit of background, and then also I want to make sure that we just get started. Here we are. All right, here we go. I think you can see that. I'm not sure. Great.
Yeah,
All right, awesome. So weekly wake up. Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for the invitation, and we will just get started. But I wanted just to share this image with you. And I know I can't communicate with you directly. It's a one-way communication. But what do you see? What's the first thing that you see? I'm just going to give you about 10, 15 seconds. What do you see? Some of you may see the duck, which is if you start with the eye, you're going to go to the left, you can see the duck. And some of you may see the rabbit. So if you start with the eye and go to the right, the duckbill actually are the rabbit ears. I'm sharing this image with you today because it's just about perspective. What you see and how you are viewing things that are happening has a profound effect on how you feel. Right? So the feeling that you have, the neuroscience is really clear. How we think is affected by how we feel. And right now there is a lot of thinking about certain things and a lot of feelings going around, whether it's your local context or the national context. But there is just a lot of emotions flying around, and it's impacting the way we view a lot of issues that are coming up. And it can be, in our homes. It can even be about, the way schools are making decisions. It can be about the way the grocery store is not having social distancing, whatever the issue may be. But our feelings and our thinking are intimately linked, and it's all based on the neuroscience. As a reminder, we wanted to just let you know, we do know that stress, there's benefits. You have to have the stress in order for us to have, positive challenges, for you to just be here on the weekly wake up. It motivates us, promotes well-being, and enhances performance. But it's right at the top of that U curve. It's when that U curve starts to go on the down and towards a detriment. It's when you start to feel there's no relief in sight. You start to get physically sick. It weakens your immune system and impairs your performance. And so that detrimental impact of the stress. And we also know that when that is there, we can share that the stress starts to accumulate. And it's as if we're all wearing an imaginary backpack, and every one of those stressors are loaded into our backpacks, and it starts to accumulate. We call that allostatic load. It's when those bricks are loaded and loaded and loaded, and it starts to wear and tear on your body. And actually, it has really profound detrimental effects on your long-term health as well. We do know that there's stress responses, right? And right now, if you're going through the news feeds, if you're getting bombarded by, parent feedback, or just even, a lot of negativity, your gas pedal is on right now. So you're in fight or flight mode. So you're hyper aware. Our body normally goes into rest and digest. That's sort of its default mode. So when you sit, even the way, you can start to think about when your body you might even just get tummy aches from looking through. It's because all of our head and heart are connected, and it's actually intimately connected to our GI system as well. So our reactions when our emotions are really intense, we have physical cues that are coming up. I know watching the news or looking at your feed, even just getting some emails, it could be all that's coming at you. And then you might have some innocent bystander, like your own child or your dog or whomever comes in at the wrong time, and the reaction is pretty strong. And so one of the things that we just want to focus on right now is that, we want to make sure that we are talking about simple strategies for breathing, moving, and resting. It's a strategy. It's just to get you to reset very quickly when you notice. And the biggest piece right now for us is just that we notice. How is your body reacting right now? How are you feeling? Are you getting warm? Are you getting tense? Do your shoulders start to inch up? So those are the three simple pieces. I also want to remind you that how we breathe matters. The research has been very profound and very clear for the last 20 years, especially, that a nasal breathing and extended breaths actually are super helpful. For those of you, and especially with the altitude where you're living, the nasal breathing, the more you practice the nasal breathing, the more efficient your breathing becomes, and it increases your lung capacity. There are runners right now that are actually training so that they're just doing nasal breathing just to get the even flow. We used to be told when we were younger, just take a deep breath and exhale. That actually possibly could be true, but they could maybe say, take a deep breath through your nose and exhale through your nose. And it actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system faster, and it lowers your blood pressure much quicker. The mouth breathing, they've actually seen as causing quite a few of the issues. They've actually connected mouth breathing to sleep apnea, to asthma, and to a lot of other breathing issues. They've even actually linked mouth breathing to the way in which folks' teeth, if they're crooked, because of all the pushing of the air out. So we're actually practicing very intentionally the nasal breathing. So using the apparatus that we were born with to actually train our body to be much more efficient. So the first one is called even in and even out. And here you can sit nice on the edge of your chair. If you're sitting on a chair, if you're on the floor, you can actually do a nice, tall spine, nice long tall spine, soft shoulders, but back and open heart. You can keep your eyes open or closed. It's entirely up to you if you feel safe closed. As you just can have a scale. I'm going to actually be your human metronome. So we're going to actually go all the way up to 5. And we're going to practice nasal breathing on the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to inhale 1, exhale 1. Inhale 1, 2, exhale 2, 1. Inhale through your nose, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do it. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3. Exhale 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2. Exhale 2, 1. Inhale 1. And exhale 1. And let your breathing go back to normal. One of the things that we do also know from the research is that stress is contagious. And so all of the people who are maybe stressed around you are also providing it's considered a contagion. The cortisol passes through. And higher levels of cortisol were found in teachers who reported high levels of stress and burnout. Their students actually had higher levels of cortisol. And so one of the things that we just want to remind you of is, practicing your mental wellness exercises just to reduce your own stress levels. And it's just a reminder just to be conscious of how you are feeling in a moment of time, and then finding just very simple strategies to be able to help you alleviate that stress. The other thing we do know that you're experiencing, particularly in education, is secondary trauma. It's very real for school counselors and school psychologists, anyone who's in the mental health support space. And right now, I think with the pandemic, every educator, I believe, is serving a dual role of providing education, but also providing that mental health support for all kids. And so I think that piece too, with the compassion fatigue, that cumulative impact, not only are you stressed, but you're actually taking on the stress of those whom you serve. And if you have parents who are adding to that, you're feeling it in your body, and I'm sure you notice where you're feeling the stress. And it's just as a reminder, the corporate athlete, which I think we all are at this point, right? That the real enemy of the high performance is, it's actually not the stress. It's just making sure that you take the time for intermittent recovery. And I would say that's across the board, just making sure that your chronic stress doesn't get the best of you, that you have to have some reserves. And they get depleted, you got to just go back in. It doesn't require hours and hours. It really just requires you soft resets throughout the day. If you don't do that, it actually starts to lead to a lot of burnout and breakdown and of your internal organs as well. And it's stress is related, chronic stress, the allostatic load is related to a lot of long-term health ailments, heart disease, even some cancers and things as well. So high blood pressure. So we want to make sure that we are just reminding you of these little things, that you matter so much to so many people. And just taking a little minute here throughout the day is really helpful, not just for yourself, but for those around you. There are several models that we usually bring up. One of my favorites is the corporate athlete. It's really that high performance pyramid. And I think for those of you who are, sort of leading your classrooms or leading in your families, we also know that there is the healthy mind platter, and that is maybe a little bit softer approach. And then the big 7 from Mark Brackett. But when you take a look at any of these models that we enjoy, really just sharing with folks, is that they're all very consistent. The first and the most important thing is that you take care of your body. Your body holds everything, right? Your heart, your head, all of the pieces that you need to sort of maintain a really good and healthy lifestyle. So we focus on the body, and right now we just focus on one thing. And for us, it's just the breath, the movement, and the rest. and until you can get yourself in a place where you have more time to focus on that. So the next one is the breathing ball. I actually we got this. My teammate Brianne ordered this for me because I do a lot of presentations, but not nearly as many as some of our others. And so this is called an Hoberman sphere. And of course, immediately my 12-year-old daughter put this out, stuck it over her head, and walked around our house like this for days. So anyways, I am not going to be doing that. I just wanted to demonstrate, but we're going to use this breathing ball as a tool. And for those of you who might be teaching in the classroom, if you don't have a breathing ball, you can use your hands so they can actually imitate. So just the inhale and the exhale. But I have this beautiful Hoberman sphere, and you can go ahead and nice tall spine, sitting on the edge of your chair, feet flat on the floor. And this is just going to demonstrate the inhale and the exhale, and it's nasal breathing. Inhale, exhale. It's a great visual if you have young children or even older students. And then when you're back in the classroom, or even if you give one of your students online, they can actually have they have smaller ones of this version, and they can actually lead the breathing practice as well. But it actually opens up quite largely. So it's a pretty great piece, but it's called a breathing ball. And again, if you don't have one, you can actually just use your hands. And so you sit up nice and tall, soft, tall spine, soft shoulders, open heart, and you just inhale. Exhale. You're just demonstrating. And one of the things that's nice about that is that you can actually stare at your hands. You're also making the movement. So you're actually forcing yourself to take your phone and whatever other apparatus you might have there as well. So we've done even in, even out. We've done the breathing strategy, and the breathing ball. And now I just want to take a moment to have you just think and reflect for a minute. Have you ever noticed a change in your breath or heart rate depending on your mood? And if you have, and you notice it, that's really the point, is when just have you noticed? Right? And then the next question is, how does your breath feel when you are angry? Is it smooth? Is it heavy? Is it short? Or is it hard? And it's just being aware of how your body is reacting, what your breath is doing in response to a stressor. It's just to make that very explicit connection between your breathing and your nervous system. And we do know that breath work actually impacts your entire body. And we do know that the breath work is intricately related to the vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body that touches every single organ. And it's connected to mood, your immune response, your digestion, and your heart rate. And so intentionally practicing that breath work and that nasal breathing especially is for us to try and get back into homeostasis. And so, So when we actually start to think about toning the vagus nerve, it actually improves our autonomic nervous system because it's automatic. We don't really know that it's there, but when we actually can intentionally focus on the breath work and really focus on that connection, notice when our body is feeling it a little bit different, that you need a reset. That's just really being mindful in the moment, just to feel that and know how you can actually start to figure out how to regulate when it's going out of homeostasis. We're going to show you another one. It's alternate nostril breathing, focusing a lot on breath right now because I think that's the easiest thing to practice in the situations that you're in. Alternate nostril breathing is exactly what you think it is, right? We're going to use our nostrils in an alternate way. I didn't know this before, but I know it now, is that you are nostril dominant. My mother used to say that when you're congested on one side, lay your head on the other side, and so that you can decongest. But we're going to actually intentionally practice alternate nostril breathing. And what you're going to do is you're going to actually, I know there's a specific style of hold, but just for ease, what you're going to do is sit up nice and tall, like nice tall spine always, because what we're really trying to do is open up our lung capacity, soft shoulders. And you're going to actually just take, and you're going to inhale. Let's start with a few breaths through our nose. We're going to inhale, close the right nostril. You're going to press, and you're going to exhale out the left nostril. You're going to inhale through your left nostril. I'm going to close my left nostril, and I'm going to exhale out my right. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close. Exhale through the left. Last one, inhale through the left. Close. Exhale through the right. I know you're not supposed to touch your face during the pandemic, but I'm assuming that you're at home and your hands are clean. So I don't know if you felt a difference between one side being easier or not, but that alternate nostril breathing is super helpful just to be able to get yourself really aware of how much oxygen is going on the left versus the right. So that actually is a nice way to see how you notice and how you feel after nostril breathing. Some of you might be left nostril dominant, some of you might be right, but just another way to really activate your nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system. We also found there was a great meta-analysis done in December, just for you to know that just 11 minutes of exercise can reverse the health effects of sitting all day. 11 minutes. They did find that 30 to 40 minutes is even better, but small doses of moderate to vigorous exercise do have an impact. I know for those of you, especially if you're on Zoom or if you're teaching remotely, or sitting, even sitting, but actively sitting, which sounds kind of crazy, but actively sitting does help. If you're slouched, I know with my girls who are all teenagers or preteens, they lean, they slouch, and they're on their phones. But if you're actively sitting, nice tall spine, shoulders back, and then really being able to get up and down. But I just thought that would be a nice, at least some positive for us to share, that 11 minutes is really something that could you find 11 minutes throughout the day. So we're going to just give you just a quick piece of, as we are sitting. It's called chair, cat, cow. We've done these before, but I wanted to just go ahead and share that again, especially because we're sitting and looking at screens. We may be sitting, looking straight ahead, or more likely, I would imagine you're looking down. And so your spine, and especially on the top of your neck, is actually getting curved. And so we're going to actually just intentionally, we tend to hold ourselves in constricted forms all the time, right? We're always closed off. We get agitated, our shoulders hunch up, our back curls over. The best example I can give is if you're actually going on a black diamond run, if you're a skier, or maybe a double black, if you're at that level, and if you're just starting to do that, it's not your norm. You get this intense, at the end of the day, you know exactly where your stress is held because your shoulders are so tight from going down the mountain, or maybe doing those pieces. But all of that is constricting. So we're going to actually try, and anytime you inhale, right? And we're going to just focus on our inhale and exhale through our noses. We're going to try and open up our body the best way we can, especially since we're sitting. And you're going to sit in seated mountain. And seated mountain just means nice tall spine, soft shoulders, open heart. You can do your hands on knees. There's two ways you can do this. You can just do it with your hands on your knees in both ways. And there's another way you can do it with your hands clasped and up and forward. So you get to choose which one you want to do. Okay. So you can go ahead and inhale. And as you inhale, you're going to stretch your arms overhead, interlace your fingers, right? And you're going to look up and just stretch out the neck, chin up, look up at the sky, and you're going to exhale down. And as you exhale down, you're going to come forward and round your spine and inhale up and exhale down, round your spine, inhale up, exhale down, round your spine, inhale up, exhale down, round your spine. You could do it that way. If you didn't want your hands overhead, you can actually just keep your hands on your knees. And as you inhale, you're going to just put your head up. And you're going to exhale down, round your spine, and push your spine out in the C. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Last one, inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale and return to seated mountain. So either way, with your arms up if you feel hunched or if it's easier, but either way, what you're really doing is just going in the opposite. If you are constantly constricting, just getting any of your muscles to move in the opposite direction will give you nice stretches and a little bit of a reminder. And actually, you can start to feel it in your body, so you're noticing that as well. All right. So now times of happening. Negativity bias is very real. Right? And as a reminder, that negativity bias, we were wired for survival just from eons and eons ago when we first became into being and thinking beings. We were constantly geared for survival, whether it was to hunt and gather and do those kinds of things out. But it's actually in our DNA that we're looking for survival, right? Mechanisms. And so we're in flight or fight. The other piece that's happened is with the negativity bias, it takes the shape of excessive worry, anxiety, frustration, aggression, and judgment. And so right now, especially what's happening sort of on the national sort of front, there's lots of different opinions, but a lot of biases one way or the other. And it's a very real process, but know that it's in our DNA and we have to work really, really hard to really go against of us always expecting danger. But it's a survival mechanism and it's very real. And right now, because of the way that our brains are connected to our, our heart and our head, right? Our feelings and our thinking, our emotions are all tied together. Our brain is like Velcro for negative experiences, right? They stick with us and we're constantly looking. And I think that's sort of happening across. We've heard that quite often from even parents who really want to try and really want to support, but then they get some news and they just get set off. And so then they start, to go into the attack mode. And I think that's really hard. It's happened across the country, just lots of different kinds of anecdotes about ways that people are reacting, and not necessarily in a professional manner or in a, thoughtful manner, but it really is that first, out of the gate response. And it's a reactivity as opposed to a response. And so because we know that our implicit memory is actually shading to the negative, we have to really, really, really work hard to take in the good and really practice explicitly. There's a 5-to-1 negativity to positivity ratio. So for every negative experience, you have to actually have 5 positive experiences, just go back to neutral. And so what we try to do is just remind folks that because we do know that the negativity sticks into our brain, it takes 2 to 3 seconds for that to just be there, the unpleasantness. But it actually takes 20 to 30 seconds longer for your brain to remember something positive and something pleasant. And so because of that, and we do know that the research is really clear about that, being very intentional about how we approach things matters a lot. And so we do know that the research is also very clear about kindness. That kindness can change the brain. Because your default mode is rest and digest, but because of everything that's happening right now, we're really feeling that threat mode quite often. I know I am. And so really just being able to find ways to be kind to others really helps us. It actually has a physiological response when you help others to go back into rest and digest. But it also matters when you're kind to yourself. And I think that those kinds of, kindness things, just acts of gratitude, kindness, they actually have a long positive impact on our physical, mental health. They do call that the helper's high. And for educators especially, the helper's high of helping others is very real, but we often neglect to take care of ourselves. And being kind to yourself is the most important thing that you can do. So just, again, from a stranger to you, hopefully a friend soon, but really just being kind to yourself. And that is by taking care of your mental health, your body, and really taking those moments to reset. And it doesn't take that much time. I want to give you one other strategy. We're going to do this one right before we go into guided rest. We're going to rest our eyes. Oftentimes we find ourselves, especially if you're in the screen, if you've been like me, I've been on my phone to the point where my daughter's like, get off your screen, Mama, it's not good for you. Gotta love kids to just, for reminders. But you rub your palms together, right? And you're gonna rub them very vigorously. You're gonna start to feel a little bit of heat. And then you're gonna close your eyes and you're gonna place the heels of your hands over your eyes. Okay. You're gonna feel that heat and just rest them there. And you should be able to just rest your eyes. Gives you a little bit of a reprieve. And you're going to close your eyes and rest them. And then you're just going to open up, soften the outer corners. You can open them up and notice what it feels like, right? I'm going to try that one more time. So you're going to grab your hands. And then you're going to close your eyes. You're going to place the heels on your hands. And then you're just going to slide over, kind of reveal, and kind of notice what that feels like. It's a great way to start the morning if you're just trying to get yourself out of bed, just to rub your hands. It gives you a nice little tactile sense. Oftentimes, I feel a little bit numb in the morning, but rubbing that, generating some heat and putting it right over your eyes, it just gives you a nice warm feeling. And again, things that you wouldn't do in school, obviously, because of hand washing, but at home where it's safe, resting your eyes. So now I'm going to go ahead and give you a moment for a guided rest and a body scan. I don't know if you prefer, but early, so I thought I'd give you just a bit of rest and then we'll go from there. Okay, so this time you can find yourself in a great, it can be anywhere. It can be on the floor if you're at home. If you're still in bed in your pajamas, that's okay too. You can just rest and lie down. If your back is hurting quite a bit, I suggest you find an empty wall. You can actually scoot your bottom over towards the wall and maybe put your feet up there, or maybe put your legs in a nice 90-degree angle on top of your couch. Anything that's just very comfortable. If you're sitting at a desk, you just put your head down and close your eyes. There's no special magic. It's just getting yourself in a really relaxed position. And we're just going to start with your eyes closed. If you feel safe. And then take a nice deep inhale and exhale. And for this one, we're just going to go through our nasal breathing again, just to get you to practice. And we just want you to notice the top of your head and your forehead and relax it. And then notice your jaws. Relax and unclench your jaw. And notice your eyes, your cheeks, your lips. Just relax them. And notice your shoulders. And drop your shoulders and let them fall heavy. You can notice the rise and fall of your chest as you're inhaling, and the drop of your belly when you're exhaling. Notice your hips. Relax them. Just let them sink into the chair or to the floor. Notice your biceps. Relax them. Your elbows, your forearms. Just let them fall and feel heavy. Notice your wrists and your hands. Relax them. And your fingers. Just relax all your fingers. And notice your bottom and your thighs. Just let them feel heavy and fall and sink into the chair or to the floor and relax them. Unlock your knees and just let them hang. Notice your shins and your calves and relax them. Let your ankles just roll to the side and hang. And notice how the balls of your feet are on the floor or laying, and relax them. Notice your heel, your feet, the footbed, and relax them. Notice your toes and how they're feeling, and relax them. And just focus on your breath. See if you can hear your inhale and exhale. You're just going to listen for your breath on the rise and the fall. See if you can notice. See if you can hear your heartbeat. And just focus. Breath. And just take in the quiet. Know that you matter. And that many, many people are grateful for you. Just go ahead and wiggle your toes. Gently wiggle your fingers. And give a nice stretch. Go ahead and inhale and open your arms up over your head. Inhale and exhale. And over your head one more time. This time I'm going to have you exhale through your mouth. And inhale once more through your nose. A nice cleansing breath out through your mouth. And when you're ready, just very slowly and gently get back into a sitting position. And let your go back to normal. And as you're getting back and settled in your place at the computer or wherever you're at, just remember, when you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you don't blame the lettuce. So don't blame yourselves. And you look for reasons it's not doing well. So if you're feeling stressed, you feel anxiety, you feel just a lot of, and your body is talking to you, it may need more fertilizer, it may need more water or less sun, but you never blame the lettuce. And so we hope that you're able to take a little bit of that, just how important you are, but it's all the things that you do for yourself or don't do for yourself that are impacting the way in which you will grow and flourish. And so with that, I just want to remind you that there are 1,440 minutes in a day. And the breathing exercises and the movement that we did today, it was even in, even out. The Overminster, the breathing ball. We've got the alternate nostril breathing. We did chair, cat, cow. We did the eye rubs and just the guided rest. And so with those, it really took a series of about 7 minutes, 8 minutes at the most. And so out of 1,440 minutes, I hope that you can take 8 to 10 minutes out of that. Remember, if you can get to 11, right? 11 minutes of light exercise can help your body as well. So just with that, we hope that you take care of yourselves. And again, we wanted to remind you, if you don't know this already, Headspace is actually giving their app. My daughter uses this for sleeping at night. There's a great sleep cast. They have these voices that go through. They do a little bit of a decompression, and then they have the sounds, the ambient noise. It's about a 45, 50-minute meditation piece at the end. But there's all kinds of things that you can do with the Headspace app. And it's absolutely free for every educator in the country. They've given it out to folks in the US, the UK, and Australia. So you can actually go to go.headspace.com /Pure Edge. You have to use your work email. It can't be and on your computer first to register. And then you can go ahead and download the app. There's no charge for that. If they ask you for a credit card, don't give it to them. You can email us and we'll provide another link. But you should be able to access that. And it's for free. It's normally about $120, I think, a year. So with that, I just want to let you know those are your gifts for you. Just please take care of yourself. I know it's really hard right now. Emotions are high, but just know that there are a lot of people that are looking out for you, and hope, I'm sure, in your own families too, how hard life has been in the last few weeks as well. There's a few months, but there is hope. You got to take care of yourself. And remember, 1,440 minutes. Can you take 8? Hopefully 11 minutes, which I think is doable, but I'll let you decide that. That's all I have for today.
Yeah, and I love that. Again, with the beginning of the new year, it's one of those things where, you want to prioritize what matters to you. Yeah. And, one of the questions that I had while going through is the idea that there's no doubt when you're done with it that you feel better.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm alone by saying that, that you almost feel sort of naughty. For taking the time for yourself, in the midst of a world in which, I've got kids, got to get to work, got to do the work there. It's really important for us to take a moment and prioritize, that so that you can take, it's like we always talk about that, the oxygen on the airplane, right? Like, you got to take care of yourself.
And I think it's interesting right now. So many people, I know that a lot of the language that we're using could be triggering for a lot of people because of the breath work, and being able to breathe. I think there's a piece right now, especially with the pandemic, with our masks and everything else. But just knowing that just physiologically, and the research is really clear about that. And I think because we approach it that way, it's a little bit easier for folks to say, okay, and you feel physically different. and just taking that piece of, breath work. But I hope it's helpful. Again, it's a practice. So, don't beat yourself up. I think what's hardest for people who do resolutions in January is that when you commit to go to the gym every day, or you commit to, walking 45 minutes, these goals that are set up, and then we start to feel bad about that because we're not meeting those goals. But these simple goals that are a minute, 2 minutes, in the morning, midday, it can be between your Zoom classes. It could be between all those, really just taking that time for yourself. But I do know from, just that one reminder of always knowing that stress is contagious, but so is joy. So when people are around you and you're joyful, that's just as contagious as stress. And so if you can remember that, hopefully that will be helpful. But I'm just so grateful for everyone who just shows up every day to work. I know it's hard. It is hard across the country, but you do it, and you just are a gift to our communities and to our kids especially. And frankly, you're a gift to our future. And we're going to have a good one. I'm sure of it. And we just have to keep that, right? So attitude of gratitude and whatever it takes, but focusing on the positive. So.
Well, Chi, thank you so much for being with us. I do want to mention just two things.
Sure.
For our team that, as you may have seen, we had the Inside BVSD, which is our internal newsletter in December. And one of the things that we did was we took the last session that we had with Chi, and we took those little exercises just so that you could kind of use those as you kind of, were there. Of course, as always, we take this live stream and we post it so that if you want to run back through with Chi, Chi is here for you anytime. So I'm telling you, she's available in other ways, as she said, but also just always there. I did also get a couple questions today in regards to vaccinations and sort of the mantra in terms of coming back right now. I understand again that this is top of mind for our employees. I do want to mention that just this last week on I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, we had been on with Boulder County Public Health. They do now a weekly community update, and both Superintendent Rob Anderson and as well as the Superintendent of St. Vrain were on this call with our friends over at Public Health. There's Don Haddad, as a matter of fact. But trying to hit pause there. But the long and the short is that really Public Health, once again, kind of went through the thinking in terms of the numbers and where we're at right now. Really tried to kind of give their thinking of why they think that schools really are safe at this point, and a little bit about what's going on with vaccinations, as well as the fact of that they're not asking schools to wait for the vaccinations to be in place. So, for those that have asked those questions, I just want to mention that as well. And then, Chi.
Randy, I was just going to share that if they go on our website for pureedgeinc.org, all these brain breaks are recorded, and they're in English. Yeah, they're in English and in Spanish. You don't want to see my mug every moment, but they're in English and Spanish. We also have them with ASL interpretation. So if you have any desire to use them with students who might need closed captioning or ASL, they're there as well. And we also have, for those of you who are, wanting to do a little bit more movement, we have a 10 to 15 minute, just really mindful movement sequences that you can do with your classes or for yourself. And they're all adjusted, and so that they're, modified positions and things. So we have all of those on our website. They're all open source. So feel free to please go and check it out if you want other resources. I'm flattered that I'm there, but you're gonna prefer being with my team. I promise you that.
No, I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate what you guys have put out there for educators. And just your presence is just, I think for all of us that, that have been on this call this morning, thank you. Thank you for helping us to kind of get a little bit centered. And I think this will help us launch our week and, the rest of this month, et cetera, semester off with the right foot. So thank you.
You're welcome. And tomorrow, I just want to put a plug. I have Tish Jennings, who is sort of a national leader in mindfulness for educators. She's actually starting a book club with us on Tuesdays. So she's going to have it tomorrow and the 3 consecutive Tuesdays. This is her new book. I'm going to go ahead and send you all in your district. I'll send you a case of books. But it's just actually called Teacher Burnout Turnaround. Oh. And so it just got released, and it's really how to empower teachers after they've been burned out. So that book club starts tomorrow. It's online. If you care to join us, I don't know what your teaching schedules are, but it's at 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern. But those are all free, and they'll be recorded, and they'll be closed captioned. So we've got all those available as well. So if you feel any interest and you want to just join us, Tisha is a national and international expert. So hopefully that will be something that you can join us as well. So,
and maybe that will work with our lunch break, right? Because like essentially 12:30ish for those that maybe that coordinates too. So, well, again, Chi, you are amazing. Thank you for your time. I want to thank everybody for joining us for a weekly wake up today. I hope that you have a wonderful week. Take care.